Welcome to the Perspectives with Catherine Toon podcast.
All right, everybody. I'm so glad you joined. We're going to do a study today together on a beautiful creation, a labor of love. And this just might fill you up, might make you happy, because guess what? You're part of that creation. You're actually the pinnacle of creation, because there's something so amazing about God's kids. And the beauty of who we are, the beauty of creation. God loves his creation, and he finds his creation beautiful. He finds you beautiful. Are there things you do or whatever that are not beautiful? Absolutely. Join the club, but you, in who you are beautiful. And that actually allows you to be freed up to be the beautiful person you are and do the beautiful things God's called you to do. So I'm going to go to Ephesians 1, and we're going to start with verse 4, and we're going to lengthen it out. Okay, so it says, "And in love, he, God, chose us before he laid the foundation of the universe." I love that so much, because that means he created you in love and chose you before he ever created a scene realm for you to inhabit. So that's how he was going to secure you. In other parts of scripture, it says he joined you to himself before the foundation of the world. It says, because of his great love, he ordained us so that we would be seen as holy in his eyes with unstained innocence. It's because of his great love, he ordained or marked us with love. So we bear the marks of Christ, which is the marks of love. We are chosen, united, and bearing the marks of love because we are so loved. Okay, so this is apart from anything that you could ever do that would serve God, that would ever be good, before you led someone to Christ, before you healed someone, before you fed the sick, before you contributed to a disaster somewhere, before you did any good works, before you could serve in any capacity. You were chosen, united, and marked with love before you could do anything good. Despite anything bad you would do. This is what he did. It says, for it was always. I love this. So was there ever a time when this was not what it was? No, it was always in his perfect plan to adopt us as his delightful children. Why did he do this? He created kids to love. Why do we create kids? Because of some sort of social expectation? I hope not. I hope that it's in your heart because you have a desire to love, right? This is inherent in us. Kids were created to love, his delightful children. That means he delights in you through our union with Jesus. When did this union happen? Before the foundation of the world, the anointed one, so that his tremendous love that cascades over us would glorify his grace. For the same love he has for the beloved Jesus, he has for us. The same love Father God, Holy Spirit, Jesus has for Jesus, okay, is the same love he has for us. Right? So like, let it, whatever it felt like, no, you couldn't possibly. Well, yeah, no, he's God. He's love. He has the same love for you that he has for Jesus. Just let it jiggle. If that's a problem, it's okay. Let it minister to you. Let it blow your mind, because the mind that's getting blown is what needs to be blown. Okay. This is called metanoia, renewal of the mind. Renewal is a renovation project, which means some things need to be blown up to be replaced by things that are solid and true, a true foundation. And this unfolding plan brings him great pleasure. So, he doesn't just love you because it's in his job description. He loves you because it's his joy. When you are loving and being loved, it brings you joy, and that's really what it is. So this is God in his attitude towards you that started before he ever created a seen realm, when you were spirit and he created you as spirit before he joined you to a body in the natural realm. Was him. And when he joined you to a body in the natural or seen realm, this is still him, because it's always been his plan. So he's constantly drawing you to himself. He loves his creation. He sees his creation as beautiful. He loves you. He sees you as beautiful. Okay. And that's just what it is. So let this just sit with it. Let it minister to you. So we're going to go, and that was in the Passion Translation. We're going to go to Genesis 1 in the Passion Translation. We're going to go to in the beginning. Now, this is a beginning. There's time before the beginning, but this is the beginning of the creation. But there was existence and being in Trinity, in Father, Son, and Spirit, as other giving love before the foundation of the world. And John 1:1 talks about that. John 1, the first chapter of John, talks about this. And then in Psalms, it talks about this. And I've discussed this before, but let's go to the creation realm, because you are a created being, adored, beautiful, and delightful. Get down with your bad self. Okay, so let's go to Genesis 1:1. It says, when God created the heavens and the earth was completely formless and empty, with nothing but darkness draped over the deep. God's spirit hovered over the face of the water. And then God announced, let there be light, and light burst forth. Verse 4. And God saw the light as pleasing and beautiful. It gave him pleasure. It was beautiful. Now, the truth is that God is light. So this is an extension in the natural realm, in the seen realm of who he is as spirit. It starts in the spirit, and it expresses itself in the natural realm. And the natural realm, the seen realm, the material realm, and the spiritual realm are seamlessly integrated. We're not doing any dualism of it being separate. It's all one. It's all an extension of God. You're an extension of God. Not that you are God, so just don't freak, we're not saying anything like that, but you are little g gods, because dogs beget dogs, cats beget cats. What does God beget? Oh, he begets children who are little gods. Okay. So and there's scriptural thing, but I'm not going to go there. Okay. So, he talks about day and night. He talks about a dome between the waters, to separate the waters above from the water below. He made the dome and called it sky. Evening gave way to the morning. That was day 2. And God said, let there be water beneath the sky, be gathered into one place. And so dry ground appeared. I'm shortening it up. So it happened. Verse 10, God called the dry ground land, and gathered the waters he called seas. Now, let me just help you with this Genesis account. I believe this is allegory. This is poetry that points to something that is true, but did not literally happen the way that happened. That's how I take this with the creation of Adam and Eve. This is allegory. Was there a man named Adam who created? Could be. Doesn't have to be. And I think we need to quit getting our panties in a wad about it, because so much of, especially the Old Testament, is poetry, is metaphor. And so this points to truth, even if it's not like someone was not historically taking notes, okay, that it actually happened this way. It happened this way in a poetic way. So just settle down. This does not have to blow you out of the water. If there's science that's not at odds with God, if there's science that says, well, the earth is not 6,000 years old, Be at peace. It doesn't have to be. This does not disprove God. This is a poetic. Let the poetry bathe you, because the truth is, this is who you are. This is how God sees creation. He adores you. He adores his creation because we are beautiful. Let's keep on going. God called the dry ground land and gathered the waters called seas. And God saw the beauty of his creation, and he was very pleased. So here we have land and seas, we have sky, right? Verse 11, let land burst forth with growth, plants that bear seeds of their kind, and every variety of tree, each with the power to multiply from its own seed. And so it happened. The earth flourished with grasses, every variety of seed-bearing plant, and the trees bearing fruit with their seeds in them. And God loved what he saw, for it was beautiful. So what does a beautiful God create? A beautiful God creates beautiful things. He can't create ugly. Okay. There's no such thing as ugly in God's creation. He only creates beautiful. So there's no creation of ugly in people. He only creates beautiful people who don't know who they are, who do ugly things out of not knowing who they are. But that is a product of the fallenness that's happened in our minds, but it's not who we are. We got to separate who we are from what we do. Okay. And it says evening gave way to morning, day 3. And God said, let there be bright lights to shine in space, to bathe the earth with their light. Isn't that beautiful? He loves this earth, and the earth gets bathed with their light. Let them serve as signs to separate the day from night and signify the days, seasons, and years. And so it happened. So here's a creation of time. Time happened with the creation of a seen realm where there was day and night. All of that created elements. So God is above time because he's the creator. And God made 2 great lights, the brighter to rule the day, the lesser to rule the night. He also spread the tapestry of shining stars. To see the poetry, and that's so beautiful. How many of you like to go out and look at the stars and go, oh. There's a lot of people that have a very hard time connecting to God, sort of in the church or in the Bible, but man, they go out and connect with God in nature. Dang, dang, dang. God is everywhere. So that's great. And if that helps you connect with God, like get down with your bad self, do that. And he set them all in the sky to illuminate the earth, to rule over the day and to rule over the night, and to separate the light from darkness. God loved what he saw, for it was beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Evening gave way to morning, day 4. These are not, I don't believe they're 4 literal days. There's 4 metaphorical days. Okay. God said, let there be life. So now he's creating life. Let the water swarm with sea life. Let the sky be filled with soaring birds of every kind. God created huge sea creatures and every living creature that moves of every kind, swarming in the water, flying in the sky according to their species. God loved what he saw, for it was beautiful. He loves all his creatures. He loves his creative realm. This is why every time a sparrow falls, God knows about it. He cares about that little sparrow. He cares about everything. It's his creation. He loves it. It's beautiful for him. Robert, my son, and he just loves the animals. He loves, and he literally he loves, and this is what he donates to, because he just loves them and he wants to see them flourish. Isn't that a God thing, right? And so this is our job, is actually to be caretakers of the seen realm. And God blessed them. Do you realize that this is the first mention of blessing in the Bible? When he saw the creature, every living thing that moves of every kind, swarming in the water, flying in the sky according to their species, God blessed them. So what was his blessing? So he blessed them, spoke well of them, reproduce and be fruitful. So where there's life, there's reproduction and fruitfulness. They reproduce of their own kind, right? That is a sign of life biologically. What is the sign of life for the animal kingdom, or actually for the plant kingdom. It reproduces itself. There's seed that reproduces themselves. Reproduce and be fruitful, fill the waters and sea with life, and the earth with flying birds. Evening gave way to morning. Day 5, God said, let the earth produce every class and kind of living creature, livestock, crawling things, wild animals, each after its own kind. And so it happened. God made the wild animals according to their species, livestock according to their species, and all the creatures that creep along the ground according to their species. And God loved what he saw, for it was beautiful. So I want you to think of your favorite animal. I love like the majestic ones, whatever. It's so amazing. But I love kind of the humorous, weird ones. It's like, wow, God, you are having so much fun, right? Think of those. He adores them. He adores them. They're beautiful to him. It gave him pleasure. It gives us pleasure. This is why, as human beings, sometimes it's easier to love animals, but usually it's because we've been hurt, right? And so we love animals because a lot of times they love us back. Now there's fallenness in animals. If you go into, the lion's cage, I saw this one dude. Oh my God. He was like, literally, he got into a zoo and he was preaching to this lion and just like upsetting the lion. I'm like, you are an idiot. And he came in with an agenda to prove that he had dominion. Well, listen, our dominion is the dominion of love, and to harass an animal to prove something for your ego is not loving. And they dragged him out. But I thought, what an idiot, and what a misrepresentation of what our dominion looks like. Okay. The next part, shaped by love. Okay, so this will preach for me. I just want you to know. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to be interviewing Brian Simmons actually this week. So that'll be coming out probably in December, January of 23. We'll see. I'm kind of having a hard time keeping track. I'm interviewing so many cool people. So stay tuned. So let's see, verse 26. Then God said, let us make a man and a woman in our image to be like us. So why did he create you, a man and a woman, to be in the image of God and to be like God? Well, what is God like? He's love. That means he's lovely. That means he's beautiful. That means actually he never fails. He's powerful, right? He is truth. We're truthful, right? We are other giving, self-sacrificing, co-suffering love. That's what God is like. This is the image that we carry. Let them reign over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, the livestock, over the creatures that creep along the ground, and over the wild animals. So let me just say, in reigning over these things, if we're created in the image and likeness of love, what does reigning over the seen realm, all the animals, what does that look like? Well, that looks like love. You take care of your pets. You don't take your anger, frustration, hatred of the world out on your pets. You take care of the planet. We are tenders. He created the seen realm for us. And so we're supposed to love the seen realm and take care of it. I'm not preaching at you. I'm just reminding you. And sometimes we get, because of our fallenness, like the guy that was like preaching to the lions, like, I am in dominion over you. You will submit to me. Well, that's not love. What about loving the lion so that it will automatically submit because it is resonating with how it was created? Ding to dang dang. This is how we're to love one another. Every time we talk about submission, it's a submission in love. It is easy to submit to someone who loves you. This is why when they were talking about husbands, love your wives, and the wives are to submit to the husbands. Well, husbands, if you are loving your wives the way Christ loves us, man, submitting, boom, I'm there. If you are not loving me, yeah, I'm not submitting to that, right? I am not submitting to that. Not because I'm rebellious, Because I'm to submit to love, right? Because I'm submitting to God. And then there's also the passages that say submit to one another in love. So that means husbands, submit to your wives when it's in love, when it's appropriate. There are times when it's appropriate for Brian to submit to me because I'm the one that's carrying a revelation and I have a gift and this is where life is. It's like, oh, dang, I had a good idea. The intuitive nature of what I have is like, yeah, that's a really good idea. Husbands, listen to your wives, submit to them when it's appropriate, when it's God. Wives, submit to your husbands when it's appropriate. There are times I definitely submit to Brian, not because he's under my thumb. No, because I'm under his thumb. No, because I love him. It's like, you are awesome. Of course, I'm going to submit to you here, right? And it's all about love. You know, God is love and he submits. Mm-hmm. When was the last time God said, do something and you said, not going to do it? Well, what does he do? Well, I'm going to force you because you will be under my dominion. Okay. No, he's like, okay, honey, that's not a good idea. But if you're going to insist on doing that, I'm with you. I don't leave you, but it's not going to be well for you because I know what's well for you. And I'm going to continue to pull on you to submit to me here because that will be where you will find life. And when you rebel against that, there will be consequences, but it's not me punishing you, but I will be here to help bring you back. Okay. Love submits, because if love didn't submit, it wouldn't be love. So let's go back to verse 27. It said, so God created man and woman and shaped them with his image inside them. In his own beautiful image, he created his masterpiece. What is a masterpiece? If you have a whole museum of incredible art, but there's a masterpiece, that means that's the crowning achievement, right? That's the one thing, you know, when you go to the Louvre or something like that, and then you go, actually it's not it there. So let's say you go to the let's see. So, okay. So when you go to where the Roman Catholic Church is and their masterpieces, the masterpiece there is, say, Christ's Last Supper. So that's a crowning achievement. When you go to the Louvre, and there's like the Mona Lisa. Okay, you go there's that's the masterpiece. I love this. I love it. But wow, right? Right. When you go to Florence and you're touring everything, and then you see the statue of David, right? And that's the masterpiece. It's the crowning achievement. It's like, oh, I saw it. Okay, now I feel like I've been there, right? And God bless them to speak well of them. There's a level of adoration in that, almost worship. When you bless something, you come down to that level and you elevate it, right? You know, not above him, but you know, it's like, listen, you go down to your children's level and you adore them, right? Saying reproduce and be fruitful. So once again, here's life. We have a commandment to reproduce and be fruitful. And if that's a pain point with you, like with children, or maybe you haven't been able to have children, or maybe you've had children, but you weren't able to keep them, or whatever that is, you can be reproduced in many ways. We have a lot of spiritual children, right? When we're giving to one another, we're being reproductive and fruitful. It says populate the earth and subdue it. So let me just stop here. Everybody, it's gotten fashionable to kind of act like human beings are the bad guys, and we need to limit population growth because the earth cannot sustain it. And I call foul right there. I call foul, because part of humanity's benign dominion, when we know who we are, there are ways to feed everybody. There's ways to take care of the earth. There's ways to take care of the very sensitive ecological structures. There's ways to create energy. And so we need to be delving into those ways, not pointing the fingers to humanity as if it's bad, because what is God saying? Oh, it's beautiful. And he created the earth for us, but we need to do our job in taking care of ourselves, taking care of one another, taking care of the earth. Dang. There's a God way to do this. It says, reproduce and be fruitful, populate the earth and subdue it. Now, when we subdue it, this is not this militaristic, you will bow down to me. Okay, right. This is not raping and pillaging. This is, you know what you subdue with? You subdue with love. So when there's that love going, it's like, yes, of course. It bows down. The manifestation of the sons of God releases creation from its bondage, and its bondage has been subdued under something that does not look like love. The earth is groaning under bondage, but when we manifest ourselves in the image and likeness as inner image bearers of God, creation is released from its bondage. And guess what? We've subdued it in love. How does God subdue us in our rebelliousness? He loves us until we're like, okay, I yield to love. It's just a thing, and love never fails. Okay. Reign over the fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and every creature that lives on earth. So see, when we do this reigning of love, the reign of love, a new commandment I give to you, as you love one another as I've loved you, by this all people will know that you're my disciples, the ones who follow me. And God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant growing throughout the earth, vegetables, and every fruit-bearing tree with its seed in itself. They will be your food. They will also be the food for every animal and bird, every creature that moves on the ground, every creature with the breath of life. The breath of life is what? That's probably Zoe. I'd have to look at that. No, that's actually, since it's Hebrew, it's probably neshama, which is the Hebrew for spirit, but I didn't look that up. So it could be. It probably is. And so it happened. God surveyed all he had made and said, I love it. Okay. All he made. I love it. For it pleased him greatly. Evening gave way to morning, day 6. And then you move on to Genesis 2, which is details of creation and all of that, and moving into Genesis 3 with the fall. And I believe that's allegorical, but I think I don't want to debate that because I don't think it's helpful. The point is, he created the seen realm in beauty and he loved it. He created you in beauty. So wherever there's crap manifesting in you, that is not beautiful. Okay. Well, he's after that to heal it. And he's going to do that. He's going to love you and win you over. This is why I believe I believe he has eternity to do it. I believe he has an afterlife to do it. There's no place in the Bible that says you can only choose God on this side. Now, let me say this. Don't waste your life not choosing God on this side. It's foolishness. A fool in his heart says there is no God. Choose him. How do we choose him? We yield. So when he says forgive, it's like, oh God, they don't deserve forgiveness. Well, that's not the issue. You need to forgive for you. When God says, give this to someone who's like, yeah, but well, give it. Okay. Love. What does love look like? This is what we need to, we ask, what would Jesus do? Well, what does love look like? Because that's helpful, because if it's supposed to look like love, well, what does patience and kindness look like here? Sometimes patience and kindness looks like confronting crap. It does. Sometimes patience and kindness means keeping silent. Sometimes patience and kindness means forgiveness. Sometimes patience and kindness means calling out who someone is. What about patience and kindness towards yourself? With God calling out who you are, my son, my daughter, that's not you. That is not ruling and reigning, being fruitful and multiplying in love. Right? So that's not who you are. I don't know what it looks like, but it's going to look like love. Now, faith, hope, and love remain. And the greatest of these is love. Let love be the beautiful reason for which you run, because it's the beautiful reason for which God runs. Be adored today. Just rest in it. Let it bathe you. Beautiful one. You really are beautiful. The more you track with that, you will do beautiful things as a byproduct. You will do lovely things as a byproduct because you are so valuable. Anyway, I hope you have a great day. Share this with someone who needs it. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, if you would subscribe. If you're listening to this on a podcast channel, please subscribe, rate it. Write a review. That's really helpful. That just helps me do what I do and get the word out. And then if it's on YouTube, follow, subscribe, let the bell thing ring, whatever that is, do that because that will help me do what I do. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Perspectives with Catherine Toon. For additional information and resources, please visit catherinetoon.com.